What up, what up? I know I'm a little late for the Blizzcon, but I'm going to start off at the World of Warcraft section. Been playing a little bit the last couple days. I just leveled up a character from a brand new character to level, I think I'm at 14 now. One second. Alright. What up? Just get everything set up here. Let's go chat. There we go. BlizzCon, but I'm gonna start off at the World of Warcraft section. Do. Just set some stuff up. There we go. All right. I don't know if a ton of people are, super interested in World of Warcraft on the channel. I know a couple people are, but everybody's coming in, lurking, just chilling. All the same.
Please welcome Executive Producer, World of Warcraft, Holly Longdale.
Wow. What's up, Blizzcon? Oh, I'm so excited to see you all here. This is fantastic. Well, can you believe we've been playing World of Warcraft for almost 20 years? You know, 2004 was a while ago, right? You know, some of us, we waited in those lines for those midnight releases and got our discs. Yeah! And we raced home to install those WoW discs one by one. Across nearly 2 decades, players all over the world have taken part in the stories of Jaina, Sylvanas, Arthas, and Thrall, and of course, so many others. And together, we've jumped through the portal into Outland. We sailed off into Northrend, and we watched Sargeras stab the world with that sword. During that time, gaming has changed, and you have changed, and so have we, particularly in the past year. The entire team across both Modern and Classic have embraced their communities. We are truly listening to your voices and taking action.
One second, I'm just setting up some of the other stuff.
Now is the perfect time to prepare to close chapters, open new ones, and double down on why we all fell in love with World of Warcraft in the first place.
That's going up there.
With that in mind, let's get to it. As many of you know, WoW Classic was born out of the community.
There we go. Okay, we're good now. Jeez.
And of course, most of you know that still drives us today. Like just in August, inspired by our community, we released Classic Hardcore.
It's my mouse not showing up. That's annoying.
So, in Hardcore, you only get one life. And if you die,
What the fuck?
you may laugh, you may cry, you may have to replace a keyboard.
Are we actually gonna get fucking hardcore servers?
We loved watching you take on the challenge or die trying. And because the hardcore community has asked, the team is planning to add a new way to play hardcore early next year. And last month in Wrath Classic, we released the Fall of the Lich King patch. And And while there's still more to come in Wrath, earlier this year, we looked at your feedback to think about where are we going to go next.
Oh, Cataclysm.
We read through a lot, and I mean a lot of your feedback on social media forums, and we sent out surveys to our players. And here at Blizzcon, we're happy to announce Cataclysm is coming.
Played a little bit, Sarah. What up?
And it's coming with hashtag changes based on your feedback, just like you'd expect from Classic. So now, let's jump into the Wayback Machine and get a reminder of
What the shit?
all things.
Why can't I see my mouse? Decided to hop on and watch the BlizzCon. Since I didn't even notice it was today. I thought it started tomorrow. And yeah, so I just kind of rolled it back a little bit to the World of Warcraft stuff, and I'm just gonna. Oh, jeez. Yeah, I honestly had no idea it started. So I saw somebody else on YouTube doing the watch party. I was like, shit, it starts today. So I decided to go back to the World of Warcraft stuff, and I'm gonna watch it through. Even though I haven't been playing it for 10 plus years and know what I'm talking about, but I can still get hype, you know. I am excited for the classic stuff, though. I don't know. We'll see about the retail stuff. I might have to jump back into retail at some point. Because I never actually played too much of Cataclysm back in the day. So I'm excited to go through that. Excuse me. Why can't I see my goddamn cursor? Let me try this again. Retail is worth it again. Oh, okay. Well, I'll see. Why can't I see my... I'm sorry, I'm trying to fix shit. It's not really working out too well. For some reason, I can't see my cursor in game. God, I've always loved Blizzard cinematics. They're so good. What is going on?
I love the passion, by the way. Get ready, my friends, because the road to Deathwing's destruction is coming in the first half of next year.
Oh, jeez. I saw the beginning of it.
Now, over the past 4 years of Classic, we've
I think
master the vanilla
with
and we've
Alduin or whatever. Alduin? I don't remember his exact name.
that we thought
Like I said, I'm not like
flavor with a
the craziest of fanboys, I guess.
dash of discovery. Season of Discovery.
So why is my chat not working? What the...
With a spicy twist.
Oh, this was all quick setup.
Secrets as you scour the world and find class-altering abilities. Have you ever wondered what it might be like?
Alright, we're
to be
taking...
Warlock?
Give me a second.
Or take on the role of a mage healer?
Give me a second. Give me a
Season
second.
of discovery.
There we go.
You can.
What is?
This
Oh my
content
god.
is going
Nope.
to
Here we
launch
go.
with an initial level cap of 25. And when you hit that max level, you'll be met
Oh,
with a
okay.
brand new
Screw it. We're just
Black
watching the
Fathom
game or the stuff.
You'll discover a brand new 10-player Black Fathom Deeps raid with
Opera
new
or
and
fucking.
reimagined bosses, mechanics, and of course, rewards.
OBS is just
Then,
acting weird.
after a couple of months, we'll raise the level cap a bit. You'll find even more endgame content, and so it will go. If you're here at BlizzCon, you can play the Black Fathom Deeps raid in the Warcraft Hall. So, if you love classic or just have
Oh, no
intrigued
PTU.
about what exactly a warlock tank can do, go check it out.
Oh,
For all of
weak.
you
So
watching online, don't worry,
that's
you
sweet.
won't have to wait long to play. Because we
I'm about to get back
want
into
you
classic. I
to
think
discover all
I'm
of the
playing on
secrets together, there will be no
playing on private servers now, but I might have to start paying for classic
WoW
again.
Classic Season of Discovery launches in a few short weeks on November.
This afternoon classic. Hopefully they do like a classic plus stuff.
For more information on the Season of Discovery and Cataclysm, don't miss the classic panel this afternoon. All right, now it's time to talk to my dragon riders in modern WoW. Our team remains committed
Oh,
to
damn.
giving you meaningful game updates about every 8 weeks with more content sprinkled in between. We really want Azeroth to feel alive and the home you want to come back to no matter how you play. Our next major update, Guardians of the Dream, is going live in just 5 days. I want to give a shout out to my elves. It is finally our time. 1 week later, Season 3 will start with the last raid of the expansion, Amirdrasil, the Dream's Hope. There we will have our final showdown with Firak and defend our new world tree. But fear not, that's not the end of our time in the Dragon Isles. There's a lot more to come in Dragonflight that will serve as both the epilogue of this story and the bridge to our next one. Like I said earlier, we are evolving. We are changing our approach to this big, beautiful game and how we look ahead to new chapters. BlizzCon, it's time for a new adventure. One that has grown from the very seeds of what captured our hearts when we first set foot in Azeroth. For veteran players, the last 20 years have led us to this. And for those who have yet to join us, now is the time. And who better to talk about the first step in this journey? Than someone who carved
We stand,
this out
Chris.
in the first place. Everyone, please welcome my friend and the executive creative director of the Warcraft universe, Chris Metzen.
It's not gonna pop back up. What the fuck? There we go. I know. Wow, Jesus is amazing. We're just gonna go to full screen for this. Fuck this. Hold on. Now go. Go here. Change that to. That to there. On that. Turn the game scene off because it's broken. Turn that up. Nope, not that.
It is, thank you guys.
Yeah,
It has been a long,
that's better.
strange trip to get back to this spot. I tell you that. It has been interesting this past year being back under the hood of World of Warcraft. It has reminded me of a few things. One, I love Warcraft. Number two, you know what?
It's like him because he
I
actually has
really
passion
missed
for it. You can
this
tell.
one. And number three, on the real, it feels amazing to be back and part of this Blizzard family again. As Holly said a bit ago,
Yeah, I'm really hoping
Next
since
year
the guy at
the
the CEO of
20th
Blizzard was
anniversary
kicked
of
off
World
after
of Warcraft.
Microsoft bought him,
I can't even believe
and
it. Whatever. How many of y'all
after
I've
he
been
got kicked
playing
off, I
from
really
the
hope that
beginning.
shit starts getting a lot better.
I love you, Prison. So given that, what was that? Doesn't matter. We started thinking, so what next, right? What expansion hook, what single storyline could possibly match such a historic occasion? We started thinking about, well, I did, the good old days, right? And some of those early mythic ideas that kind of established the background of Warcraft. Started thinking about even some of the newer ideas that have played out more recently, but still in a way feel a little unresolved. And in the mix of all that stuff, in the mix of all those ideas, particular things like, what the hell has Magni actually been babbling about all these years? Was the thing that he came to warn us about in Battle for Azeroth, did it actually play out? Or is there potentially something darker still looming on the horizon? I don't know. Will there eventually be an apocalyptic confrontation between the forces of the light and the void? Talk to me, Blizzcon. I'll tell you what, for nothing, my pally Maine, I'm all in on that kind of thing if it happens. It's gonna happen. And really the big question for all the marbles, what have the Titans actually been doing since the dawn of civilization? What is the real purpose of all of their cute little installations slammed into the side of the planet? Do we know everything we need to know about their real intentions for our world? Just saying. BlizzCon. All of these hooks and 100 more. 68, carry the 2. A bunch more. All cooking in the pot. Started to reveal a storyline. Something epic.
That's hype.
How epic? Real epic. A storyline that in almost every way feels like the culmination of the first 20 years of our storytelling. A storyline provided we do our jobs, we do the thing that will vector us into the next 20 years of adventure.
Saga.
BlizzCon. Are you with me, BlizzCon? We call this storyline the World Soul Saga.
Oh shit.
The World Soul Saga.
That's cool though. It would be
is
like
so epic, as we covered.
playing through the story in each expansion
It
to kind of,
cannot be
at least they're all kind of
contained
tied together.
within any single expansion. It is built to play out over multiple expansions over the next few years. Come on now. Having said that, we are working on multiple ways to deliver this adventure to you a little faster than you're used to. We're not going to get into it at this BlizzCon, forgive me. But keep your ears peeled. I assure you, we are moving with purpose. And the last thing we really want is for y'all to have your grandkids controlling your mouse and your keyboard trying to wrap this thing up. So, it's coming. Also, given the scale of this monster, we have decided to change it up today. Here we go.
Oh, 3.
Dun, 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 dun.
It said it's been years since we did BlizzCon.
Instead
We're not
of
going to
just
announce 1, we'll announce 3. Yeah, for
debuting
real.
Your next expansion, all on its lonesome. We have decided to give you a glimpse at your next 3 expansion sets. Does this meet with your approval, BlizzCon?
In the nursing home. Yeah. I mean, by that point
My
that we get
friends,
that
I'm gonna
old,
warn
we may
you,
be able to just play video
there may
games
be
with our
mild
minds.
Spoilers ahead. Actually, I'm just kidding. They ain't mild. Buckle up. Are you ready, BlizzCon? The first part of the World Soul Saga and your 10th expansion is called World of Warcraft: The War Within. In this chapter,
Yeah, exactly. You won't actually be playing the game, but you'll be there.
Exploring new subterranean kingdoms and engaging with ancient cultures like the Earthen and the terrifying Nerubians of Azj-Kahet. But as the forces of darkness close in around our precious world soul, that's you, will be called to do what you always do, which is dispense indiscriminate justice upon all those who got it coming. Talk to me, BlizzCon. The second part of the World Soul Saga is called World of Warcraft: Midnight. In this chapter, you will be returning, ready, to the old world, to the fabled lands of Quel'Thalas. There, the forces of the Void have invaded Azeroth, intent on snuffing out the
But what
light
if her
of the
horde?
Sunwell and plunging the world into darkness and fear. You will not only help reunify the scattered elven tribes of Azeroth, but you will make your stand with the forces of the light and banish the shadow forever. Of course, BlizzCon, it is Azeroth.
Oh.
Things may not go to plan. Things may just spiral wildly out of control, leading us to the third part of the World Soul Saga. World of Warcraft: The Last Titan.
Ooh, go back to Northrend. Let's go.
In this chapter, you will again be returning to the old world, this time to the wintry lands of Northrend. And there, at Ulduar, you will bear witness to the return of the Titans to Azeroth. And there, you will uncover a vast conspiracy, one that stretches throughout the history of the world, one that will challenge everything you think
This
you
man
know
just knows everything.
about the Titans, their intentions, and the true nature of Azeroth itself. In time, my friend, in time. And it's called Silithus. There you go. Blizzcon, my hope, our dear hope, is that you can see when it comes to WoW storytelling, we ain't screwing around. We are playing for all the marbles. We are working to establish a thundering heartbeat for this franchise. Now. Now, BlizzCon. Hearken to me. Always wanted to say that. Thank you. Whether you
That's
are
a strong sentiment right
a
there.
current player, and I'm gonna bet that most of you are, or maybe you jumped off the WoW train a few expansions ago, now is the time to come home.
Oh, God.
Now
Bloody
is the
failure.
time
Yeah, I mean, that
to
sounds about
pull
right.
on your boots, pick up your broadsword or your favorite
that money.
glowy staff, and get in this fight. Friends, Azeroth needs her defenders now more than ever. Now, in a few moments, we are going to give you a deeper look at the war within. But before we do that, I want to leave you with a little something to chew on. I want to remind you all that sometimes very epic things can begin with small, heartfelt moments. What you're about to see is one of those moments.
Oh, what do we get?
And with that, BlizzCon.
God, I love Blizzard
Proud
cinematics. They're so
defenders of
good.
Azeroth,
Holy shit.
let the World Soul
That's realistic as
Saga
fuck.
begin.
Yeah, but I don't know. Spending that much money just for beta access, I don't know. I'm sure. I mean, obviously people will do it, but geez, it's a lot of money. Anduin, that's his name. I always forget it. Oh no, I don't think it's worth it. Oh, big boy.
You're here to tell me we don't get to hide.
Being such a
That
big
it?
brood, he just seems like a
You
kind
needed
soul.
time. We stayed away. But time by itself heals nothing.
You didn't just come here for me. It's the visions. You've seen them.
I suspect many have lately. Something, someone, is calling out from the heart of the world. Like a voice from a dream. Something dark is coming, Anduin. The world needs your light again,
All right, Anakin, chill out.
my son.
Kill the younglings.
I am not that person
That's what it
anymore.
reminds me of.
I have no light. Not after what I've seen. Not after what I've done.
You are not your past, Anduin. I trust you.
Oh no.
Hear me.
They're getting worse. Look, whatever's coming, I'll stand with you. Of course I will. But we were drawn here by the voice.
Jesus.
Who is it, Thrall? Who's calling out to us?
I'm not sure
It's
yet.
more than a sword, sir. Fucking planet cracker.
But that sword was aimed at someone.
I guess we're not ignoring that sword anymore. I do have to say, though, every time I see that cinematic, and I've seen it many times, it gets me right in my heart. It feels like a new beginning, and it feels like coming home. And we are so excited about where we are going. And now that you've seen or heard the overview for the World So Saga, let's talk about the war within. As we all gather and explore beneath the surface, we'll find an ancient Nerubian civilization. They will be led by someone we were first introduced to in Legion, Xal'atath, a harbinger of the Void. The Void brings destruction and darkness that threatens all light in our world. The last time we saw Xal'atath, she promised we would meet again, and it turns out she was right. And while Anduin, Thrall, and others share the same visions emanating from the heart of the world, some are seeing something quite different.
My visions
This looks It's
are
like the
not the
Underdark.
same as the others.
It basically is. Jeez.
No radiance, no song,
I might have to get
Just-
back into retail.
the shadow taunting me from below.
Rubber bands. there's another race.
Are all the mounts getting the dynamic flight now that dragons have?
That would be sick. Dude, this might actually convince me to get into fucking retail again. Oh.
The fate of our world rests upon the edge of a knife.
Oh, that's...
And our battle lies deep within.
In the War Within, alongside beautiful, unique underground zones,
Oh, that's
we will
sick.
have challenging dungeons and raids
you don't need
and
a
some new
fucking-
features too.
Don't need to
that
do
are
an
built to last.
AQ40 for...
If you like exploring on your own with a
For
couple of
high-tier
friends or
gear.
family, we have delves. These are a variety of bite-sized experiences for 1 to 5 players that will offer endgame rewards.
Oh, that's sweet.
You may also find
That is
in
really
your delve
cool.
a familiar character who'd be willing to fight alongside you. And if you're like me and you have an obsession with alts, we have
She was a
warbands.
weapon in Legion?
With this feature, you could treat all of your characters like family and share banks, reputations, transmogs, and more. We're also introducing a new layer of customization for your class specs with hero talents. You might want to take your character down the path of a Dark Ranger, let's say, or a Farseer, and more.
Ah, okay.
Also, during your travels underground, you will meet the Earthen Dwarves, and you'll be able to unlock them as our new allied race. I mean, who doesn't love a dwarf? The facial hair options are spectacular. There's so much more to talk about, so please join
When
the What
next year?
Next
Fall?
panel that's
Oh,
coming
that's
up right
a
after
long
the
ways away. Well,
opening ceremony right
maybe I can
here.
get up to fucking level 60 by
What I
that
can
point.
tell you, though, is that the
Not
call
persuade.
to get
I
into the
can, but-
fight to save our world will ring out when The War Within releases next year. And lastly, I sincerely want to say, we are so excited to begin this new journey with you. And from our hearts to yours, thank you for bringing our world to life. And now, with his own note of thanks, Mike Ibarra.
Thank you to all the teams who presented today. There really is so much to look forward over the next 2 days. And this is only the beginning. I can't wait to walk the halls of all of Anaheim with all of you. It is truly a joy to be here with the Blizzard team and our players. BlizzCon, be great
See
to
what
each
else
other
we got
and
here.
enjoy the show.
See? Let's see if we can catch up. Okay.
BlizzCon 2023 would like to thank our partners.
I didn't. I didn't intentionally pursue leadership.
To BlizzCon 2023.
Let's go.
Over the next 2 days, there will be a series of 8 panels and presentations showcasing a variety of exciting new games and updates, led by some of Blizzard's amazing creators, artists, and designers. So, to kick it all off, here's our first presentation, World of Warcraft, What's Next?
Four years have passed since the mortal races gathered together in Anaheim, California. And now, the drums of Blizzcon thunder once again. Let me hear the thunder! Yes! Ah! Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here with us today. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World of Warcraft What's Next panel. My name is Taryn Gregory, and as you may have heard, thank you. As you may have heard from Chris during the opening ceremonies, we are at the dawn of a new era of Warcraft. The World Soul Saga. A story that will play out over the next 3 expansions and will take us on an adventure in World of Warcraft like we've never experienced before. This saga kicks off with the War Within. In this first chapter, our heroes will be called on an expedition
Would hope if I get into
to the
retail, your
subterranean depths of
guild
Azeroth,
might have a spot for me,
revealing
sir.
a new world full of mystery, wonder, and darkness. There we will confront the shadows below and face new challenges on the battlefield as well as in ourselves. So what is next? During this section, I'll share an overview of the story of the War Within, and then next you'll hear from Maria Hamilton, who will speak to zones and cultures, and then wrapping up with Morgan Day, who will talk about dungeons, the raid, and our new systems. Let's dig in. In our cinematic reveal, did you guys enjoy the cinematic? Woo. Big shout out to the cinematic team for their work on that. It's just incredible work. We witnessed as Thrall found Anduin Wrynn, who has been wandering alone for the last few years, grappling, lost in his own thoughts, and dealing with the experience
I didn't
that
know
he's
you had
been
a
through.
guild of
Many
one.
of
Oh,
may
are
have
you?
remembered.
Are all of your
Throughout this
alts in
and
your
our featured
guild?
trailer, we learned 2 very important developments, starting with these visions. Thrall spoke of a vision calling out from the heart of the world, like a voice from a dream. This radiant song will compel our heroes to investigate its origins, and while at the same time, a darkness has been gathering, even as the heroes
she was a
adventured on the
soul
Dragon
inside
Isles. And in
a
the War
blade.
Within,
Okay,
the
that makes
mysterious
sense.
harbinger that Iridikron spoke of will reveal themselves. Xalatath has returned.
Yeah, I actually found a good guild.
Freed
at
long
least in
ago
Turtle
from the
WoW,
black
but
blade that once
if I
bound
switch
her,
back to
she is now the harbinger of a new
switch back to
era of the
classic
Void's
and
dark
retail, then
machinations.
yeah, I'm gonna have to find a
And
new
her
guild.
message is clear. The Black Empire has fallen. The old gods are dead. And their ancient blood runs deep within the cracks of the world. We, the heroes of Azeroth, destroyed them. The forces of the Horde and the Alliance have proven time and again they are among the most powerful armies that have ever stood.
Her armor looks fucking slick.
The
though.
Harbinger has watched
Slick,
this.
slick.
She is patient. And while the Black Empire failed,
that's
Xalatath
cool.
now seeks to set in motion the rise of a new dark legacy. One that
I'm
knows
to
our
go
true
through,
strength
like,
and will seek to
all
test
this
it
fucking
against a
content.
new threat of terrible power, the Nerubians of Ashkahet. Xalatath has conscripted the Nerubian queen Ansurek, having offered her people a new future, one in which they will rise from their isolation as a mighty kingdom once again. And here in this sprawling city of Ashkahet, we will not find the undead soldiers of the Lich King that we faced before, but instead a new, mighty stronghold of the Nerubians as they once were, deadly survivors of the mythic wars that have played out time and again over thousands of years. In return for their loyalty, Xalatath has granted the Nerubians the means of a dark evolution.
We all know elves have the
one that will turn
elf
the Nerubians
women
into a
have
new
the
kind of ferocious and terrifying
those
soldier
childbearing hips.
that we will clash against time and again in the War Within. Now let's talk about who we'll be adventuring with. How do you like the key art? Several of Azeroth's greatest heroes will rise to the call of the Radiant Song, and many will be faced with their own unique challenges. Anduin, having survived his ordeal with domination. Yes, look at the art. Oh, incredible artwork. Anduin will be grappling with his relationship to the holy light that he no longer feels worthy of, while Thrall is seeking a connection to these visions, spreading across the world and working to find his new place in the Horde. While Magni Bronzebeard, long the Speaker of Azeroth, will confront the heavy weight of that
Lyria.
responsibility once and for all.
Love her.
Champion! The Wounds Champion! Yes! But that brings us to, I know you saw this in the features trailer, Alleria Windrunner. Alleria's journey will be central to the events of the themes of the War Within, as she, a Void Hunter, will use all of her prowess to hunt down the Harbinger while being torn between her own nature and the maddening call of the Void to which she is attuned. Along the adventure, she will have a unique rivalry with Xal'atath, whose twists and turns will come to define the nature of this new conflict. Of course, we'll see many more familiar faces on our journey and meet a host of new and interesting characters along the way that Maria is going to tell you more about in just a moment. But finally, this saga is only just beginning. Conceived to be... Yes! Conceived to be an epic worthy of the first 20 years of World of Warcraft, the World Soul Saga aims to redefine the storytelling in our expansion set and strike boldly at the core themes that define Warcraft. The might of heroes, the responsibility of that power, the pursuit of justice. Got to do my best Mets in there. Justice! And the importance of finding common ground as well as ourselves amidst adversity. Up next, may I introduce Maria Hamilton, who will be sharing more about our zones and cultures in the War Within. Thank you so much.
Hello, BlizzCon. Wow, I am so excited to be here and delighted to represent our team and tell you about the places that we will explore and the cultures we will encounter in the War Within. I can't really see all of you out there. I know there's a lot of you, though, because I can hear you. And I hope to hear lots of oohs and ahs when you see some of this cool art I've got to show you. So let's get started. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yep. Thank you. Okay. As Taryn mentioned earlier, we'll be called by the Radiant Song, dreamlike visions that come from the heart of the Azeroth. This summons is going to lead us to the subcontinent of Khaz-Algar, a place long forgotten. It's only through recent explorations of Oldemon that we've discovered a Watcher report concerning a contingent of Earthen that was sent to this place long ago to investigate a fissure in the sector. What exactly that means, we don't really know, but we can probably speculate. So first, let's talk about the Earthen. There you go. There you go. All right, we have met Titan-forged Earthen before, of course, in Ulduar and other places. But this society of Earthen has been isolated within Khaz-Algar for a really long time and have developed their own manners and customs. Now, visually, these Earthen are a bit larger in stature, and they're noticeably blinged out. They've got gems all over them, bedazzled, blinged out, you know, that kind of thing, right? But philosophically, they are guided by the Edicts of the Titans, a set of codified orders, duties, and expectations that provide instructions for the core functions of their society. You know, Titans, order, all that, right? But the Titans have been absent for eons, and the Earthen are no longer united in their adherence to these edicts. They now exist as three groups that are estranged from each other. The Oathsworn, as their name suggests, still uphold the edicts faithfully and believe everyone else is doing it wrong. Their charge is guarding the Core Way, a Titan passageway that leads right to the core of Azeroth.
They're primarily the city dwellers. They live conveniently near the object of their responsibility, that core way. Now, the Unbound, in contrast, have abandoned the edicts, and they are considered scandalously rebellious by the Oathsworn. Their original responsibility was providing the materials to keep the Titan installation supplied, and they're primarily rural. They're living in and around the quarries and the mines where natural resources can be acquired. They rarely interact with the city dwellers. They feel neglected and ignored because they have a different opinion on how they should live. Now, the machine speakers have strayed from the edicts in practice, but not with respect to their overall obligation to keep the Titan works functioning. They've had extremely limited contact with the surface dwellers, and they express no little disdain for those who just don't understand the great machines. Their homes are built around vast industrial projects under the surface that allow them to perform their functions in accordance with edicts, more or less. These different perspectives among the Earthen and their variable adherence to the Titan's edicts has weakened the society as originally structured. And that's not good, of course, but a much more serious problem is their steadily dwindling numbers. For reasons that I'm not going to get into here and now,
They look pretty freaking cool.
New Earthen can't exist until we help them out by doing some things and unite the Earthen society once more. Happily, as a result of our actions,
Oh, that's cool.
the Earthen will eventually be unlocked as an allied race. Yeah, like sweet, don't they? Yeah. These player Earthen will replenish the culture's dwindling numbers and may join either the Horde or the Alliance. Yeah. It is, of course, player's choice which side you wish to ally with. But as you can see from a small sampling of combinations, there's some fantastic variations and customizations coming for the Earthen models, including different gem incrustations, beards for all body types, rocky skin patterns, tones, and more. Now that golden mohawk with the braids and the fringe beard, that's
They look
quite
freaking
the look.
sweet.
But I really like the beardless guy with the bushy blonde eyebrows. He looks so cool. He's just kind of like, yep, what do you want me to do? So anyway, all right, moving on. Another cool culture that players will encounter in the War Within is the Arathi. Yeah. Yeah, and you probably have questions, right? So these are descendants of the original Arathorian Empire, and they've arrived relatively recently and through some somewhat mysterious circumstances. And they find themselves trapped here within Khazalgar. Mysterious mostly because I can't say anything more about it just yet because of spoilers, but it's not like spooky mysterious, it's the other kind. As a people, the Arathi are worshippers and wielders of holy fire. They are dedicated to bringing hope and light to the darkness. They're tough, resilient people, with every member of the society being an able combatant. Some few are further blessed with paladin-like abilities through their devotion to the light. Even their airships are powered by sacred flame. The extent to which they're comfortable in battle is probably a good thing, because they have established a home away from home in an enormous cavern bordered by an endless underground sea, from which terrifying creatures emerge to rampage and create havoc. Not my idea of a cool place to hang out, but they're really, really tough. These watery monstrosities, though, are nothing compared to the threat from below. A constant swarm of Nerubians has been held back so far from invading the Arathi lands. The assault is unrelenting, the threat is dire, and the Arathi can't hold much longer. These bastions of light against the darkness are far from home and limited in number. Sure would be terrible if there was also division within the Arathi ranks. Just saying. That would be pretty rough, what with them being so outnumbered. We could probably help them. All right, speaking of the Nerubians in the War Within, we'll explore their last kingdom deep within Khazalgar. These ancient survivors of the Black
Yeah, I think we
Empire
get
who
like a
rejected their
completely
former
different
masters
race would be
have
nice,
developed their
but
own culture here in the
I don't
deep
mind it.
darkness.
I like dwarfs.
As Taryn mentioned earlier, Zalatath has
But
made
again,
a bargain
my,
with the Nerubian queen Anseret,
My input doesn't have anything to
who
do with
seeks a new future
some
and
players that
renewed
have been
glory
playing
for
for
her
15
people.
years or
The
20
Nerubians
since
are
the beginning.
extremely capable and
I don't know what I'm
devious
talking about,
adversaries
so.
who have been honing their skills with
just
their
like, oh, I
constant
like this stuff.
assault
It
on
looks
the
cool.
Arathi. But domination hasn't come fast enough for the queen's taste, as the Arathi has managed to hold
The
against this
Nerubians is a
onslaught.
playable race. That would
So
be
this
sweet.
deal with the
These
Harbinger
guys look awesome.
has included some assistance for her troops. Through some dark alchemical process, Xalatath
I'm literally
has
on
provided the knowledge
Blizzard right
required
now trying to figure out how much the
evolve
subscription would
chosen
be.
Nerubians into paragons
What it
of
comes
their
with.
race, enhancing their viciousness. And Queen Azurek has embraced these modifications with enthusiasm and eagerly offered her army to achieve the Harbinger's schemes. It appears to be a win-win situation. But not all Nerubians share their sovereign's enthusiasm for change and her embrace of Xalatath. Shadowy figures with far too many limbs maneuver against the Harbinger's plans in opposition
I also
to
get
the Queen's
Dragonflight,
desire.
which is nice.
As you might expect, any
sub
foray into this Nerubian kingdom introduces us
and
to
the
a
War
variety of
Within.
citizens, including
Get
some forms
Dragonflight,
we've
which
never
would be
encountered
nice.
before. Here's a layout of some of the Nerubian models that are completed and also some that are in progress, as well as scale reference for goblins and humans, so you just get a sense of size. In addition to the Nerubian citizens, there are also domesticated insects who serve the kingdom as beasts of burden and pets. The team is hard at work building out the full range of carapaces.
Oh, that looks pretty.
Carapae? I don't know, whichever. Skittering legs, grabby arms, piercing spiky bits, and creepy eyes for you to enjoy, I guess. All right, let's talk about our zones. The surface of Khazalgar is our first zone, called the Isle of Dorn. This is the home of the earthen surface dwellers, as well as other native species of creatures. The fertile soil, flowering plant life, and generous waterways provide nourishment for animals in this untouched paradise. An important facet of earthen society is Cinderbrew mead. This volatile substance is manufactured from molten honey, produced by enormous fiery bees. Their home groves are a remarkable sight, as the hearts of the trees themselves glow with lava-like fluid. Harvesting is always an exciting time, as the ferocious creatures are understandably protective of their hives. Now, the roosts at Storm Watch are wreathed with lightning and fierce winds. These wild elemental rooks may choose to serve a member of the Oathsworn, who, if so blessed, becomes a Storm Rider, one of the guardian warriors of the earthen people. The Unbound deal with hostile creatures from time to time, but for their most part, the existence is fairly relatively peaceful, fairly sort of peaceful. Their comfortable homes are often situated near the places where they once labored as adherents to the edicts. Those sites are now in disrepair, and in some cases, the lair of other creatures. Of course, the Isle of Dorn boasts a great walled city where the Oathsworn live and serve the edicts of the Titans. The city of Dornagal is the location of many important civic buildings, markets, traders, and crafters. And it's here that a traveler will find the expected amenities of a capital city, as well as the Titan Causeway, the defense of which is the Oathsworn's primary charge. Now, beneath the surface of the Isle of Dorn lies our second zone, the Ringing Deeps.
Yeah,
As the name
exactly.
suggests, it is here that the Earthen are engaged in their work in accordance
I like
with the edicts.
when you get a choice
In these
between
industrial
Ally and
areas of
Horde.
this cavernous space
I'm
are
mostly
huge,
a
complicated
Ally
machines,
player, but
lava-heated foundries and forges,
I do like
and
a couple Horde
waterworks, both
races.
to cool and to power
Also, I
huge
feel like
machinery.
with my main, with
Maintaining
my
these
Warlock, I
Titan
don't
mechanisms
know,
and
it feels
keeping
better to be
everything
like
running
a,
is both the responsibility
undead,
and the passion of the
something like
machine
that.
speakers. The Earth has shifted too in places,
like my
revealing
Pally and
openings
stuff,
to the
he's always
sky
Ally,
above
so.
to the Isle of Dorn. These cenotes bring light and water into areas once shrouded in darkness. Abundant greenery, flowers, and creatures that do not
I love
typically
this.
dwell in caverns may be
Love
found
this
in
theme,
these
this
idyllic
look.
spots. It was really important to us as developers that we delivered the fantasy of the hard-working industry, but still had some break-up areas of natural beauty that don't feel like dark, constrained tunnels. Now, as the machine
Oh,
speaker
great.
population has dropped, they've
Now we
had
just have
increasing
more kobolds to
difficulties
kill me.
with kobold incursions. And indeed, the kobolds have taken over the mines, the work areas. They've even built a city of their own. Unexpectedly, the kobolds are actually becoming a force to be reckoned with under the aggressive actions of their leader, the Candle King. You knew it had to be a candle. No take candle. No take candle. With the passage of time, the Earthen have diminished both in number and in the knowledge required to perform the various routines to tune and repair the processes. The old ways have been forgotten,
awesome.
and new creative methods must be employed
That
if
is
the edicts
gorgeous.
are to be obeyed. So they're kind of making it up as they go along. From the ringing deeps, we
Wearable
descend
candle.
further into Khazalgar to reach Hollowfall, a vast hollow area in the earth bordered by an endless underground sea. This tenuous foothold under the bright light of an enormous crystal has allowed the Arathi to survive, using their airships to travel to high plateaus and establish docks, light towers, villages, and even a priory. From their capital of Merildar, these trapped people strive to keep hope alive and spread the light while engaged in a near constant battle with the Nerubians at their borders. The open spaces,
Oh,
the
yeah, it's
bright light,
definitely
and the
the most,
greenery are intended to feel as
visually
though we're on
pleasing
the
zone
surface
so far.
somehow,
Oh,
rather
never
than in
mind.
this sort of strange hollow within Azeroth. The crystal
Bullshit.
provides brilliant light, warmth, and growth for vegetation. You may notice that all the blooming plants have opened their blossoms toward
for
the
sure,
light
Elden
and
Ring
seem to be
vibes.
reaching in that direction whenever they're in Hollowfall. Unfortunately, the crystal sun has been changing in recent years. Where once the light was steady and reliable, it now fades without warning, plunging the Arathi into darkness, save where they have built light towers and maintain their holy flame beacons. In the absence of this light, the dangerous Kobis and other fierce creatures emerge from the sea to rampage. As the Arathi are barely holding back the Nerubians, these unpredictable episodes are incredibly demoralizing and deadly. Happily, the
Yeah,
light
this
has
gives me
always returned to the
major
crystal.
Underdark vibes.
So far. And at the deepest descent in the War Within, we reach the zone of Aj-Kahet. That almost rhymes. Anyway, the Nerubian city of Threads has been built on the ruins of itself, over and over and over again. As areas decay and crumble, a new district is built upon its ruins, and as a result, the city climbs ever higher. Those Nerubians favored by the queen, or possessing enormous wealth, or both, command the greatest views and live in the highest places over these swarming masses of the many districts. The Burrows is the home of the scavengers, the forgotten, deep in the decay and the filth. The Umbral Bazaar is a trading hub of fine silks, fascinating alchemical discoveries, and other exotic and hard-to-find goods. The Skeins are the home of the lore keepers and scholars who toil to maintain the history of their people and research myths and legends of Azeroth. There are many other districts and less than savory neighborhoods, both well-known and secret, that the careful adventurer could discover should they risk life and limb to do so. But the key to such exploration is fitting in among the Nerubians and being accepted, an enterprise best accomplished through skill in the use of pheromones and considerable bravery. The zone of Aj-Kahet features areas of spectacular dark beauty that are inhabited by these creatures that have found a way to live among the Nerubians without being deemed a threat, found to be particularly tasty to consume, or just too much fun to torment. The mobilization of forces to assault the Arathi while also providing military might to achieve Xalatath's schemes has stirred up all sorts of inhabitants of the darkness. And deep within the city itself, the Nerubians
looks
are
so pretty.
gathering an odd
Colonies.
substance.
Wow, holy
the black
shit.
blood of the old gods for some unknown purpose. But I'm sure that's fine.
That's not a dragon either. That's a fucking.
And now I'd like to talk
Griffin,
a
it
little
looks
bit
like.
about our zone flow. As I mentioned, awesome, huh?
Wow.
We travel from the Isle of Dorn into the Ringing Deeps, into Hollowfall, and then into Aj-Kahet. In the War Within, all of our zones are connected all together using the airlock technology that we developed for
That's
Zarelek
awesome.
Cavern, allowing for this seamless descent from the Isle of Dorn all the way to Aj-Kahet. That was video I just captured last week of the transition between the Ringing Deeps and Hollowfall. As you can see, we built for dynamic flight, and we were able to flow directly between the zones without the load screen. There is some seriously amazing swoopy goodness to be had moving across these zones and through these spaces. It feels
condition, gotcha.
so cool to burst out of a really tight area and into just a huge drop like that. It's so exhilarating. Now, this blobby map that I've got up here was an early attempt during development of our zone flow to try to figure out how we would stack these zones together and achieve the relationship between their geography and geometry that made sense and felt great to traverse. We ended up with something slightly different than this, but this is pretty representative to explain what the world builders were thinking about when they planned these spaces out. It was really important to our design that while 3 of the 4 zones are technically underground, they didn't feel that way, and that they were distinctly different from one another. We pursued that goal by introducing the natural cenotes in the ringing deeps and leaning into the fantasy of the classic underground foundry and industrial workspaces. So even in the zone that felt the tightest, there's places that look as though they're actually on the surface. And within Hollowfall, we created a massive hollow space in a cavern so vast it feels like an exterior, with a huge artificial sun in the form of a gigantic crystal. And in Aj-Kahet, we leaned hard into traditional Nerubian architecture with hanging nests and huge palaces built all over a decaying city that just falls away into the depths. And that is the last bit of eye candy I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this peek at what we've got in development.
Let's go.
So now it's time for me to introduce you to Morgan Day, who's going to give you lots of information about dungeons, raids, and systems. Enjoy. Thanks very much. Bye.
Hello, BlizzCon. My name is Morgan Day, and I'm here to talk to you about some of the upcoming content, features, and systems in The War Within. I'm sure I'll also make some funny faces that I'll regret later in thumbnails, but whatever. First up, let's talk about dungeons. There will be 8 new dungeons coming in The War Within, 4 during level up, 1 in each of the 4 zones that Maria just walked us through, as well as 4 at max level. There's a lot of really cool stuff happening in these dungeons. For instance, we have like a kobold dungeon where you'll meet that Candle King, where there's like a light mechanic that takes place. You have to kind of keep it going to light your way. There's a dragon riding dungeon, of course.
I'm sure one of those bees are going to be a freaking flying mount at some point.
That Maria just
or
talked
maybe,
us through.
Maybe you can get it from the actual
this is a dungeon
raid.
that takes place on our first zone, the Isle of Dorn, which is where you'll experience, all of our earthen buddies. And this is the place where they make that cinder brew mead that she was talking about. They take in all that honey that they gather from throughout the zone to make the mead, to do all kinds of fun and/or nefarious things with. Although I do have to say, I feel like they're a little bit behind the times. I feel like all the kids are drinking that, hard seltzer or something these days, but whatever. They're old school, I get it. Next up, our raid, the Nerubar Palace. So this is an 8-boss raid that will take place in the zone of Aj-Kahet. And this is really the culmination of all of those machinations we keep hearing about that we see play out between the Nerubian Empire, their queen, and her collaboration with Xal'atath. So for this next one, we don't normally show things this early, but I thought it'd be cool to share. On the left there, you can kind of see the top-down view of the raid, and on the right, it's more of like a side cutout. So we like to work on all of our dungeons and raids when they still look like this, as it's much easier to iterate while we're in 2D than it is to kind of change the zones around once we're in the game and it's all blocked out. So to step us through the raid really quickly, after barging through the front door, you'll very quickly fall and/or get knocked into one of those giant pits of that black blood of the old god that you'll hear much more about in Aj-Kahet. And then you'll battle your way through the harvest pits, and then finally traverse your way back up through the stalactite wing, which is not a final name, I promise, until you finally fight your way into the Queen's inner sanctum, where you'll come face to face with her as the end boss. So as you can see, this will kind of feel like a winged raid in terms of the vibes, but in terms of the player experience, it'll actually be quite a bit more linear than what you might be used to for a raid with some winged vibes. So something that I also think is fun to talk about really quick is with all of our dungeons and raids, we like to try to explore what is the thing that's going to make this space feel really unique, that's going to make it stand out from all the other times that we've built these dungeons and raids. And with this space, we really thought that, given that we have the Nerubian to play with, they've got all these amazing webs and silken threads that you can kind of traverse the zone through. We thought it'd be really fun to explore verticality as a major element of this raid. So I think that'll be really fun to see what the team comes up with for that. Next up, let's talk about systems. So I want to walk you through some of our features and systems at a really high level, but first I want to talk about some of the philosophies that are really guiding us to add these into the War Within. So first and foremost, we really want to continue to extend the philosophies of Dragonflight into the War Within. And really when we talk about that, there's three main pillars that I want to touch on. First, we really want to make sure that we're focusing on evergreen features. We want to make sure that we're making World of Warcraft better forever and not focusing on things that we know we're going to have to leave behind as we move into future expansions. Next, we want to make sure that there's something for everyone. So whether you're a hardcore raider, a PvPer, a collector, or apparently like Holly, you just love to play tons of alts and run around the world exploring things, we want to make sure that there's something in War Within that you can really geek out over and that resonates with you. And finally, we want to make sure that we're continuing to build on our philosophy and build on our systems and content with people who play multiple characters in mind. We want to make sure... We want to make sure that we're building all of our systems to really respect the time of the player behind the keyboard and not focusing so much on the accomplishments of that individual character. So let's talk about delves. Delves are a new feature that will be integrated into the outdoor world experience, where the fantasy of these is actually that you'll be joining the Dragonscale expedition in their search for lost treasures all across Khazalgar. So delves are an evergreen feature that is really integrated into that outdoor world experience. We want delves to be a new pillar of endgame content for those outdoor world explorers. We really view this as something like when we added world quests back in Legion, where they are going to be really integrated and transformative into that outdoor world, especially that endgame loop. So one of the main reasons I'm stoked about delves is that these will provide an opportunity for us to give seasonal content and rewards to those outdoor world explorers. So that means things like rewards that you're used to, like mounts, achievements, titles, but we'll also be adding a outdoor row to the Great Vault with War Within. So that all of you outdoor world explorers will be able to share in the joy of rushing to the Great Vault every week to collect your loot. And there will also be 13 unique delves that will be launching War Within.
Solo players to still enjoy them.
And delves will scale from 1 to 5 players and be role agnostic. So that means if you want to play a delve solo, that's totally cool. If you want to go with you and your partner, that works as well. Or you can bring your whole dungeon group in, and the delve will scale based on your group size and your roles.
Brian Bronzebeard.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention one of my favorite features of delves, which I think Maria alluded to earlier, which is that there will be an NPC companion joining you on all of your adventures. So for Season 1, that'll be Bran Bronzebeard.
Classic IRL. Game relay.
And Bran will be tagging
guys,
along
all
with
the streamers
on
that we watch,
all of your
they're
delve
not going to be
adventures,
existing
and will
anymore,
totally
sorry.
never, not even once, aggro a pack of monsters that you didn't want them to. And I don't have my fingers crossed behind my back right now. So Bran will have a custom...
I'm excited for the classic panel later.
Bran will have a customizable talents and mechanics and abilities.
I mean, I'll be honest,
that you'll be able
retail
to
is looking
out to suit
really
your
good,
playstyle
and I'm
needs.
actually
so maybe you need a little bit of
kind
extra
of
healing.
interested in playing
Bran out to
retail,
provide
but
that for you.
I do like classic a lot.
And finally, you wouldn't be exploring with the Dragonscale expedition if at the end of every delve there wasn't this massive treasure trove that we need Bran to open for us, which hopefully brought a couple of keys to open some of the chests in there. But before Bran can open that that vault for you, you'll need to maybe defeat a
I love
boss,
this.
maybe you'll solve a couple puzzles, something like that.
SWTOR has like the
Bran
same
will be
thing
able
as
to
like
open that vault door
Legacies,
for
where
you.
all of your characters are connected.
Next up, let's talk about warbands. It's happening. So warbands are a system that we're introducing that will really be the representation of all of your characters across your Battle.net account. Warbands are an opportunity for us to create a platform where you can share your achievements, resources, and all that other good stuff across all of those characters. So the goal of this system is really to be that representation of the philosophy shift that I mentioned earlier about really respecting the time of the player behind the keyboards and not those individual characters. There's actually a ton of additions and modifications. We've talked about a few here. There's no like singular UI screen that says warbands. It's more of like all these modifications and updates and features are like kind of wearing a big coat that says warbands on the back of it.
Oh, that would be cool to see all your characters kind of hanging out in like a camp or whatever.
But just to talk about a couple of those cool features, we'll actually be revisiting the transmog rules of how you acquire those appearances in the War Within.
Run it with one and then just have it for everybody.
So that means all of you who have probably had to run 4 characters through all of those legacy instances just to make sure you're collecting all the appearances, that won't be the case anymore in War Within. You'll just be able to run it with one
I know people are excited about that one.
Holly mentioned this already, but this is obviously one that people are looking forward to. All of our reputations as well as renown in the War Within will be shared across your entire account. Last but not least, let's talk about hero talents. So here's a quick mock-up of what the UI will look like that I think really helps explain how these integrate into our current talent trees.
Well, I guess they've answered your prayers
here.
here.
So there will be 3 new hero talent trees per class, and 2 will be available per specialization that you can freely choose and swap between. And also, this is another evergreen feature. This is a system that we think is going to provide a new vector of choice and customization for you and all of your classes, as well as create opportunities for us to really dig into some of those core class fantasies that are, so amazing. So Hero Talents will introduce these new, small, self-contained talent trees like you just saw in the UI. And the way I like to think about it is like, currently we have 2 types of talent points, right? We have class talent points and specialization talent points. And now in the War Within, there'll be a 3rd type called hero talent points. So let's look at a quick example, which hopefully explains it a little bit more. This is a warrior, as you can see. These are the 3 hero talent trees that they'll have available: Mountain Thane, Colossus, and Slayer. And as you can see in the top left, we have Protection, who will be able to choose between Mountain Thane and Colossus. Up on the right, you see Fury. Yep, that's right. Mountain Thane and Slayer are their options. And down at the bottom, Colossus and Slayer are their options. So this is how the majority of our classes are going to look in the War Within. The exception, of course, being druids and demon hunters, who are a bit special, so theirs will look a little different. So let's take a look at how you'll unlock the system, as well as how it'll feel playing through as you're leveling through the War Within. So the system will automatically unlock at level 71, and it'll just kind of appear in your UI. You'll earn 1 talent point per level as you level from 71 to 80. And there are 10 talent points in total, with several choice nodes along the way. So I like to think of this as being similar to like the Legion artifact, where as you were leveling and progressing, you were making some choices along the way, but ultimately you're going to unlock the whole tree. And also, I want to be very clear here. These are extremely low friction to swap between those choice nodes, as well as to swap between the different hero talent trees. So, this should be very analogous to your current talent trees and will follow all the same rules that you're used to there. So, at the start of a raid boss, before Mythic Plus starts, before an arena match kicks
That's
off,
cool.
And anywhere in between. And to wrap us up, I wanted to show
So
off a really quick
changes
video
everything
of
up
what
just a
hero
little
talents
bit.
look like in action. So this is a warrior, as you can see,
Allows you to
popping
customize
avatar,
your
jumping in.
talents and
this
your
next one is that
specialization a
same
little bit
warrior
better.
With the Mountain Thane talent tree. As you can see, Stormbolt hits multiple targets. There's a couple of cool new V effects, and a lot of other cool stuff going on there as well. I heard some oohs. Ooh. Our effects artists will be happy. So that about wraps us up for our What's Next panel.
All right, so let's see.
We hope you really liked what you saw
Classic,
here, and if you'd like to know
3:30.
more,
Okay, so an
please
hour
join us
from now.
tomorrow at the
Overwatch,
Deep Dive
honestly,
panel, where
don't care.
at noon, where Ian will walk you through some of what you saw today in more detail. Woo, Ian! As well as a bunch of other cool new
Warcraft.
stuff
We get
in the
another
War Within. So
Warcraft?
thank you all so
Yeah,
much.
that'd be sweet. I love
I hope you
RTSs.
have a great.
All right, let me pull this up. Oh, I'm really considering just starting to play retail for a bit and get onto classic and retail and not play on a private server now.
Secret Lab.
I mean, private servers are great, but I feel like the amount of content I'm gonna get is just way better with what we got on from Blizzard. I mean, yeah, it's quote unquote expensive, but thought Overwatch is dead. Like nobody even plays it anymore. Let's see, it's what, $50 for the War Within, which doesn't even come out until next year, but that comes with Dragonflight, so then I could just pay for the next one while getting Dragonflight, and then I can get...
I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
Let's see. Just pull this up.
I wasn't always the friendly, carefree guy you see before you today.
Go with that other
I
one.
used to take things very seriously. I
And
never had time for fun.
pull this over here. Okay. Why is it so big? That's because it's 1440. Duh.
One day I realized
This will be easier for me to stream through Blizzard stuff anyway. So, let's see.
I needed to work on me.
I could just do 1 month for now, or maybe like 3 months or something. I don't really want to pay for a full month currently. I get Classic, which is nice. Let's see. Not free. I didn't play Dragonflight, so I might want to do it anyway. So this is available before 31, that's next year. Yeah, I mean, spending for the Epic Edition, and at minimum you get only 3 days. 3 days of early access. Ooh, what are you gonna get up to? Like fucking level 15, 20, not even. I don't really care to like buy the higher editions just to get like transmogs or different mounts or toys. I mean, I'd rather just collect those things in game. I'm sure these ones you can't even collect in game, but well, enhance 70 character moves. I don't really care about the boost because I'm going to want to level anyway. Let's see. When is Blazing Heroic upgrade? I think these are just... Yeah, these are just mounts. Pets, mounts. I'm not spending fucking... Well, I mean, that just comes with game time, I guess, but... No, I'm good. Special subscription offer. What's the normal subscription? Goods. World of Warcraft, Lich King. So $14 a month gets that. I know it's reduced. Mounts. Pets. Mounts. Drake, which is cool. I don't know. I'll have to decide what I want to do here. That would be cool. Cataclysm. So even if I buy... I don't believe you need to... I don't believe I need to buy Cataclysm. I think it's just part. Classical will require a... Wow, okay. Okay, so I don't need to buy this, just play Cataclysm on Classic, which is nice. Because fuck that. I don't want to have to buy 2 fucking expansion packs. We'll have to see what they say on the... Cataclysm is coming back out, which is cool. I hope they do like a Classic Plus, which is, you know, everybody's freaking hoping for. That's the only thing I hate. I just don't want to play a server and have the server die and have to pay to fucking transfer my goddamn characters. It's the biggest part. I'm kind of like, meh. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see, we'll see. Anyway, I might come back online in about an hour for the classic panel. And then after that, I'm talking to my cousin. I'm going to try to get some of the plugins set up and get everything set up for Elden Ring tonight. And then while we're playing Elden Ring, I'm going to test out streaming and recording to see if it will work for tomorrow for our recording session of Baldur's Gate in the morning. So I'm going to set all that stuff up, get some of these scenes fixed on OBS, and get ready for that. He hasn't texted me back yet for tonight, so I don't know if he'll be joining us for Elden Ring and we'll be playing together, but if not, I mean, I can just play by myself and test it that way. It's not a big deal. I just wanted to test... I just wanted to make sure that it can record kind of high fidelity game, and I think Elden Ring would work well for that, so. I think I'll be back in about an hour for the classic panel, because I actually want to see that one, and then after that we'll switch over to some Elden Ring, so. I will be back in about an hour.